Welcome back to Life Beyond Locks. Today we're going to take a look at a piece from Dimples. I'm so thrilled to be looking at something from them because it's been a minute since I've gotten anything new from Dimples. The last piece that I had was the Hera 19 in Nutmeg Rooted, and I absolutely love that wig. That was the first wig that I ever wore full time when I transitioned from wearing toppers every day to work to wearing wigs every day to work. So that one has a special place in my heart. I recently just pulled it out to go to a Bruce Springsteen concert. That's a whole other story, but I absolutely loved that piece. And so I'm excited to look at this piece because it's a new color for Dimples, but in some ways it reminds me of the Nutmeg Rooted. And instead of a wig, it is a topper. So this is their newest topper. She's called Athena, I believe, and she is an extra large topper. She's a 8x9 topper, extra large base, 14-inch length, French drawn top with a machine made weft that you can see there. And her color is called 6N, 7N, 8NR. So you're looking at all of these beautiful neutral kind of shades, and it's Remy natural hair. I love that they called her Athena. I love that they've gone with the whole goddess theme in their entire lineup. And Athena, I believe, is the goddess of wisdom. So how awesome that they named one after her, especially her being the large base. You know that I'm such a fan of a large base when it comes to toppers. If you are just looking for a little extra volume, you know, you're someone who already has a good amount of hair and you're just experiencing a little bit of thinning, or you just want some extra oomph, then a small base topper is great. But if you're like me and you have more progressive hair loss and you're not ready for a wig, you want to go for a topper, you got to go for the large base. I mean, you don't have to, but it's so beneficial for so many reasons. One, just look at the shape. I haven't tried this on, but I know it's going to fit my head nicely because it has that sort of dome shape, right? It's going to hug my head, which is going to be beneficial in terms of the appearance, but then also the comfort. So it's going to naturally sit over my head. And that's the way that they've designed the wefts, which I love. And then it's going to be clipping into a less sensitive areas of my scalp. If I'm clipping in up here, it's going to be more uncomfortable, but clipping down here is a lot safer. It's also going to cover more of my bio hair, so you won't see any color inconsistencies, and it's just going to make my hair look overall fuller. So a large topper is always great. So we'll take a look at this now and then we'll pop it on. So you've got all hand tied area at the top, and Dimples, in order to give you the most natural looking scalp, has also sewn in a piece of silk material so that you have this natural looking scalp. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a cap or anything underneath. You don't need to do anything to that scalp. It's going to look ultra realistic, which we love. But then it also has the lace front, and the lace is going to look super natural on your front hairline. So you don't even have to worry about blending, which for me is a bonus because I hate blending. I hate blending toppers. Even when I wore toppers full time, I pretty much never blended because I'm just too lazy in the morning and I just don't like doing it. So this is going to be perfect for someone like me. Okay, let's throw it on. Take a look. Oh yeah, I can, so they've got it centered on the left side part already, but you can move because of the entire area here being hand tied. You can move the part around any way that you like. So in terms of placement, I'm going to go ahead of my natural hairline because I've got that lace to conceal it. This is great. James and design team, you guys did so well with this. Okay, I've owned a lot of toppers in my time since starting to wear them almost 5 years ago. We're going on to 4.5 years for sure. I don't think I've ever had, and I'm not even just saying this, I don't think I've ever had a topper that just fits the head so nicely before ever being washed or worn. So normally over time, toppers, they will start to feel increasingly natural on you as they conform to your head, but this one right out of the box is feeling that way already. Okay, so my own bio hair is a little bit long for this piece, so this would not be the ideal. So if you, but there's plenty of gorgeous length here, right? So if I was going to wear this full time, I think I would just be cutting my bio hair so that it blends in perfectly. And you want to go about 1 inch shorter than the topper because otherwise you end up with this, what's the word I'm looking for? The difference in color and texture. But look at how beautiful this is. So you do have a bit of a transition area here, but that can be masked with a little bit of scar tape if you're worried about it. Gorgeous color. So this color, I think they're calling it creme brulee. I'm gonna have to check that. But regardless of what it's called, it is an absolutely gorgeous color. I love it. So I'm gonna go in now and just do a quick job of adding some waves to this piece because well, actually, should I? Or should I go ultra sleek? Let's add some curls. Lots of curls. And that's one thing that I recommend that you do once you've decided that you're going to keep your hair is you want it to feel like you, whatever that means. So however you style your hair, when you get a new topper out of the box and you know that you're going to keep it, you don't want to be doing this if you're going to return it, obviously. But if you know that you're going to keep it, you want to go ahead and add in the things that you would normally have with your hair style. So if that means adding layers, taking it to your stylist and having them add layers, then you do that. If you typically have a bang, then have your stylist add a bang. If you normally wear waves in your hair, wear the waves in your hair. If you typically wear makeup day to day, make sure your makeup is on before you even try on that topper the first time, or it's going to feel very unnatural and very uncomfortable for you. But if you know that you're keeping it and you go ahead and add all of those little changes, I promise you, you're going to be so much happier with the end result. Now, what's interesting about this piece is that I just went ahead and started styling it right away. I knew I'd be keeping it, but it's remarkable to me that I feel like nothing else needs to be done to this wig or topper. And that's because the construction of it is so fantastic and natural. I mean, the best of both worlds, to be able to have a lace front, but then sort of the silk insert at the top to make it look really natural is something that you don't get in every topper. So this is one that you should be able to wear. Whoops, right out of the box. Yeah, I need more curl at those front pieces because that's how I like my hair styled. Away from the face. Isn't this fantastic, the color? I think what's so great about it is it does remind me of nutmeg rooted a little bit. I would say it's a bit lighter and a little bit more golden in its tones. But it's very beautifully blended. So you have the 6, the 7, and was it an 8? Yeah, 6 and 7 and 8 color. But there's no stark or streaky highlights in this. It all just blends so beautifully and so seamlessly. Okay, so I've got that going. Now, the problem in part is that my hair underneath is bone straight right now. I have curly bio hair. And before filming, I went in and I straightened my own bio hair and I didn't add a wave to it. So that's not going to help with the blending. So you do have to make sure when you're wearing a topper that you blend your bio hair appropriately. And I said I don't like blending, but not at the transition line up here. In terms of, making sure that your bio hair matches in terms of the texture and the style, that is actually quite important and a step that I don't recommend that you skip. Though you don't have to have the best hairstyle under your topper when it's such a large base because it's really forgiving. It's going to cover a lot, as you can see. Okay, so I've just added some very loose waves here, and I feel like already this is me, and we're ready to go out the door. And how long did that take? 3 minutes? Something like that? Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So Dimples doesn't bleach the knots on their pieces. However, they're not visible. And that's in part because of the way that they went ahead and put the lighter color right in the front here. So it just all blends so nicely, but you can also, so here's the thing about bleach knots. They make the hairline sometimes look more realistic, but they also shorten the lifespan of the piece because the hair that you see on me started off as a much darker color. It's undergone processing. And if we bleach the knots after doing all of that processing to create a completely seamless finish, then the hair over time is going to be more fragile and it's going to break or it's going to fall out of the lace. So by not bleaching the knots, you're actually giving the topper or the wig a longer lifespan. So if I hadn't told you though, I don't know if you would even notice with this topper that it has unbleached knots. And that's because one, the way they constructed it with that lighter piece in the front, but then two, because of the way I've styled it. So yes, if you want to wear this right off your hair, actually, gosh, look at me proving me wrong. I was going to say, if you wanted to wear it right off of your hairline, you would see the knots, but I'm not sure that you do see the knots even like that. So you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, but I do like to hide the lace and the knots in general with all of my pieces by just having sort of a face flopping, but then curling these pieces away. So, you know, it conceals everything anyway. But my gosh, look at that hairline. Isn't that great? And what's also great about this is that I didn't have to use any glue or adhesive. So a lot of times a lace top piece requires adhesive at the front of the hairline, especially for toppers over wigs, because the reason that the lace typically sits flush to your head is tension. So with a lace top wig, you know, the tension is all the way around your head. But with the topper, as you saw, we just plopped it on the top. And what that usually means is a loosey-goosey kind of lace. But the construction of Athena doesn't require the glue. And I think it's because the way that they designed it, as I said at the beginning, is you've got this lace base here, and then you've got the wefting. And the way that the wefting is done, even when I'm just holding the piece like this, you can see it kind of curves. So it's creating that tension around the front hairline without you having to do anything. That's pretty remarkable. Not many toppers do that when they have a lace front. So you can see here the lace extends quite a bit of way, and then you've got clips on either side of where that lace ends. So you really are getting the tension right here without having to pull very tightly on those clips at all. So I'll put them on, I'll put it on again, and you can watch me install it more closely this time to see how little tension I'm putting on. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips around the perimeter. And they are the soft close clips. You know, they're the good ones that they're not gonna destroy your hair, which is great. You don't have to use them all though if you don't want to. You could just use 3 of them instead of all 5. And then let's just take a look again at that hairline. I'm taking it in because I didn't look at this before filming. I wanted my reaction to be authentic. Yeah, so this is really good. I don't know if I can pick it up on camera, but do you see how the highlights are super subtle, as I said, right? Like these are subtle, subtle highlights. But when I pull the hair back here, you can see that the very lightest pieces are right in the front, and then we have slightly darker pieces moving back. So I can see the knots starting right about here on this piece, but I don't see any knots right here. And that's because they've taken the lightest color, which is probably the 8, and they've put it right in the front. So you don't see the knots. And then when you start to see the knots, you're already far enough back into your own hairline that you don't notice them anyway, because they're not sitting right on your skin. I mean, that's just a fantastic design. No exaggeration. Fantastic design. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to throw it back. Actually, before throwing it back on, let's curl a little bit. We'll curl just a little bit of my own biological hair so that it blends maybe a little bit better. Because I showed you my own hair was sticking out at the bottom, and that's because my bio hair is longer than the topper is. However, if I add sufficient curl to my bio hair, I can probably bring it up in height a little bit and hide the fact that they don't match in length. All right, so now we're getting ready to put it back on. I'm just going to show you the whole piece. So you can see I didn't curl the back part here entirely, but look at the coverage. I mean, the larger base just gives you so much coverage. You don't have to worry about any part of your own hair showing. And the way, actually, one more thing that I'm noticing, this is actually really important to note as well about their construction. And I honestly, the more I look at this piece, the more I'm like, okay, Dimples, I see you. The wefts here are really tight together. Do you see that? And then look at the stretch. That's incredible. So what that means is you have a lot of room to play, but also you won't see crazy gaps should the wind blow. Let me try to show you. See, I'm struggling just to show you what that would look like because there's so much hair. So there you can see the wefting, but it's going to be very subtle. And my hand is under it, and that's why it looks so pale. But it's going to be very subtle because the wefts are so closely sewn together. You won't have major gaps. But even then, look at if the wind blows, you're not going to see anything because it's such excellent coverage. And I know that I don't have to worry about blending because we have that lace front. Oh, this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. I would wear this every day. I'm tempted to dye and cut my bio hair to match because this is so beautiful. Wow. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. If you have any questions about this piece or anything else related to wigs, hair loss, toppers, or the Dimples lineup, please drop it in the comments below and I will do my best to answer every single question. Thank you to Dimples for sending this over. It's absolutely stunning. You hit it out of the park with Athena. She's gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you with the next video.